Yo, 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 what's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Nate the Great coming at you with another live. You already know if you're new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. To all the returning friends and family, you already know it's peace and blessings. I'm gonna give y'all some time to tune in case these notifications ain't go out. First things first, hopefully everybody having a blessed and productive Wednesday. Happy Hump Day to everybody. Hopefully everybody smoothly gotten through the work day. Hopefully your kids done smoothly gotten through the school day. Um, I don't know for some, I think y'all starting y'all quote unquote spring recess. So, and for those who got college students, hopefully y'all keeping tabs on your children, making sure everything is everything, especially if they are traveling outside of the states. So one thing you want to make sure of is that your children are at least in the most care and the most safety. Susanna, baby. Appreciate everybody that tuned in Sunday for the conversation. Shout outs to the brother Keith for popping in on the conversation. Definitely, hit some key points. We dug deep into it. For those that might have missed it, you can catch this replay. Um, I'm gonna tackle one or two things tonight. The first thing I want to say, doing a study on certain things, and the numbers that I did the study on is crazy. 85%, I repeat, 85% of the male population who are locked up right now, mostly all of them, are coming from single parent homes. It's an astounding number, at least in my opinion, because you figure, the numbers would be a little bit lower than that. Now, between the studies that were done and then this coming also from people who have worked or have been corrections officers, have said the same thing. Most of these men are coming from single parent homes, broken homes. 8 to 10% are coming from, you know, 8 to 10% are coming from group homes, adoption agencies, or being with relatives who really aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I think that says a lot. It shows that when it comes down to specific scenarios, it seems to be no real unity. I think it's unfair. Just think that number would be a lot lower if certain things were taken into consideration. There's some of you women out here who will even come on these platforms and say that you had a good person or that you had a good man or whatever the case is. So if that's the situation, why not try to make things work with that person? Or why not co-parent if you can't get things together? The most important thing to do. Because at a certain age, believe it or not, ladies, the sons need their fathers. There are just some things you can't teach a man. This is what the fathers are there for. This is what, it's important to have structure. You can't have a balance and you can't have your children being successful or even being more mature and aware of things in life when you're not giving them that perfect balance. Now, again, you want co-parent, cool. But at a certain age, you're going to have to allow that child to stay and have more time with the father. Because if you want your young men and your young kings to be just that, then they definitely need that balance. DD baby. And that's what some of y'all are not looking at. You're not looking at the general consensus of things. Children need a balance. It's the same way a daughter would need her mother. And this is what I'm saying. There's some things that a man can't teach a woman, and there's some things that women can't teach men. But when there's a perfect balance, or at least somewhat of a perfect balance, you get a lot of different, scenarios happening, which is important. Just think again, that number is serious. 85% of the male population in prison are coming from single parent homes. I think that number would be a lot lower if some of you women, especially now, especially some of you young mothers, would get this notion out your head that you can just do everything by yourself. You didn't have that baby by yourself. It took somebody to help you, right? So why not let that person, especially if you claim they good people, let them help. Let them be a part of their child's development. Like I said, I can see you keeping your child away from the father. The father is on a registry. I can see you keeping the child away from the father. The father is you know, a complete psycho and is a danger to himself and even his family. Cool. That man might be abusive. Cool. You know, you got to think about the safety. I get all of that. But like I said before, anything else outside of that, it's time for some of y'all to stop being so stubborn. It's time for y'all to stop being so vindictive. Cool gamer, what's going on? So you would rather let your sons suffer into adulthood because you refuse to let them spend time and bond with the father? That's not a good look at all. This is an equivalent to why we have some of these men that we have now. Over emotional, effeminate, like it's sad. And then they mixed with a bowl of testosterone. They lack certain emotional intelligence because they too hypersensitive. Like I said the other time before, you have some scenarios where these young kings are getting treated like pure dog shit because of the way this mother is projecting her anger onto her child. Just because you don't like the baby father, that doesn't necessarily mean that baby father should not be in a child's life. Again, causing the division within the household. This is why the numbers are the way they are now. Those numbers could drop again if and only if y'all work together. Again, I could grant if things didn't work out with you and that dude, okay, well, y'all still gonna have to put your pride aside and put your personal feelings aside for that child. Because ladies, at a certain age, there's just again certain things you can't teach a young man. Their father has to be a part of that process. They have to. When these men are not being a part of the process, it becomes a real big problem. Like I said before, there's some of these young ones who are being abused at home because, again, bitter or vindictive women that have a disdain for their child's father and will do anything to keep that father away from their children. Serious, baby. Marlene, baby. And again, this is why I said it's important. It's important for y'all to figure out how you want to figure out things. But I feel like this: no child should have to suffer just because you don't like the child's father. I think that's very immature minded, in my opinion, to do that. Because again, y'all say y'all want to raise young kings. You want to make sure that your sons are being the best they could be in life. But how is that going to be possible when you're denying access to the father? See, again, let shoes be on the other foot and a man decides he's not going to allow, and not saying that I haven't seen or heard things like that, but it's rare you hear that. Let a man, or let any single father for that notion, do what some of these single mothers are doing to them and see how much of a backlash the man get. We quick to get backlash for everything, even when it ain't our fault. We don't try to break up homes. I'm sorry. We don't try to break up the homes and the establishments because we already know that it's important. That's a whole fact, Marlene. It is. It's immaturity because if you got a man that is willing and able and ready to do what's necessary, then let them be a part of that child's growth and process in life. This way, your child won't be the 85% that's locked up now. I'm sorry, but when I looked at that statistic, I scratched my head because I said maybe it's a mistake. But no, it's actual truth. 80 to 85% of the males right now that are locked up are coming from single mother homes. Not parent homes, mother homes. Let me get this right. Some of them, if they are living with their fathers and their fathers is on the up and up, they're basically getting what they're supposed to get for life. Yes, some of you women have this instinct to say, I could raise my child better, or I could raise my child without the father being involved, but you are sadly mistaken and wrong. Now, there are some instances where some of these women had to do it because of what I was just saying earlier. You know, certain scenarios where the father can't be around the children, cool. But see, some of those people have what you would say community support because they have men that's in the community that know them, that probably will be guiding them and teaching them certain things, which is important. Because again, let's look at how things were back in the day. Even for the mothers who were single, you always had still men within the community that was willing to try to help in any way, shape, or form. All you had to do was ask. Aaron, baby. You know, and that's the sad part about it, Marley. What you saying right there to some degree is true. But again, just think about the number I just said. 85% of the young men right now, just men in general, who are locked up, are coming from single parent situations. Again, ladies, there's no other way to get about it. Even if you're not going to settle your differences, it should at least be a common ground for that child. And I'm sorry, but it should be that way. Because there's no way you can sit here and tell me you're comfortable with denying these children access to another form of great parenting. I'm gonna teach my son how to do all of this by himself. You can't teach a man how to shave. You can't teach a man how to fish. You can't teach a man how to do certain things. This is again why the fathers are needed. You can't teach a child how to fix a car, install this or install that. Again, father is needed. Again, if you're keeping your kids away from the fathers for safety measures and safety reasons, and even by court standards, cool. I'm not knocking that because it's supposed to be the safety of the children first before anything. But anything else, oh, I just don't like them. Oh, I just can't be around them. I just can't. And there's nothing. No, now you're being selfish. You're being selfish. Because again, how do you expect, prime example, I think the numbers would be down. It wouldn't be 85%. It would be less than that. I would say, give or take, it would be an even 50%. Because we're not going to eliminate all of that. We're not. Because that's sad that 2% of the people who are locked up are coming from two-parent homes. Keyword, 2%. That's a small number. So that means, yeah, out of every whatever it is, probably one family, mother, father, they still together, all that good stuff. And again, look what happens. They'll end up going through the system just because of whatever. 2%. Whereas 8 to 10% are coming from, again, adoption agencies, foster homes, or they been living with family members, so on and so forth, or just the streets raised them. But the key thing, that 85%, that's a big number. And it's unfair. And that's understandable. See, Aaron, look, that's understandable. Because yes, there are some single mothers who raise their kids and raise their sons into to being mature adults. Grant that. Because yeah, they did have a support system. I would be one of them. I didn't have my father in my damn house. I didn't have my father in my household at all. Barely had a relationship with that man. But guess what? I still had uncles. I still had people who was playing the uncle roles. I had male influence within my whole family on both sides that taught me certain things that, again, a woman just can't teach. It's important. Time to build that structure back up. My day was good, Marlene. Workflow as always right now, but had to do this live. I tried to do it earlier, but yeah, got wrapped up in the food coma. I know I missed some live streams earlier, and I got to catch some replays. Mike, what's going on, my guy? Y'all already know if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. Like I said, I'm gonna tackle a couple little things tonight, but this is one of them. Now, some again are putting themselves in positions to set their sons and their daughters up for failure. And again, it's critical because, granted, you know, there are scenarios where these women have tried to do certain things and do it for the good. And seeing those are the ones, again, that had what they were supposed to have. They had influence, they had male influence. Didn't matter, immediate family or not. It was a system. Just like how some of the women would be around for some of the dudes that was single fathers, raising sons and daughters. Because again, it takes two. I hope everybody enjoyed their Wednesdays today. Because I feel like I'm gonna dig deep to a degree with this one. For some of you young mothers out there, It's time for y'all to get out of this logic and this motion of thinking that you don't need the father to take care of. You absolutely need a father or a father figure for certain chains to break. No doubt, Mike. Appreciate you for popping in, though. But I think this is a problem. Again, some of y'all being bombarded by outside interference. Some of it is social media driven. The rest of it is just community driven as far as what you see and hear people talking about on a day to day basis. Oh, girl, if he don't do this for you, then you need to. And it's like it's not about y'all no more when there's kids involved. Your best bet and your best overall chance for your children's survival is again having that balance. It's needed. What do you think is the reason why? It's a little bit of both, Marlene. I had my fault. I'm catching up with the chat. It's a little bit of both, Marlene. Because some of them will be upset. Prime example. You done gave this man a baby. Things is probably working out, but for some reason, things fall apart. Now, if that man is still going to be active in his child's life, even if that means he has to move on from what he had right then and there because y'all can't work things out. You, I don't understand this part right here. I really don't. If you know there's no opportunity of y'all getting back together, right? You're gonna plan on moving on with y'all lives separately, but you're gonna focus on co-parenting this child, right? Why should there be jealousy or hidden agendas? I mean, let's be real. If you already moved on and you talking to a couple men or talking to certain men, and that man that you then fuck, that had that child with decides now they gonna move on. Why should you have an issue? But I've seen this happen too. Seen some dudes get upset because the baby mother decided to move on. My thing is, if y'all can't get together and stay together, then guess what's the next option? The next option would be raising that child together and making sure that regardless to how you live your lives, your children have a balance. Your children is not all over the place. See, prime example, some women are jealous that they can't be with the child's father. And this is another reason why the control comes into play. Oh, if I can't be with this person and not, they can't see their children. What kind of mindset is that? So you would rather your children suffer instead of you getting out of your pride and getting out of your emotions and feelings. There's some things in life that guess what? You're not gonna be able to be emotional on. You can't put too much emotion into it because again, it's about the importance of that child. And it's unfair. I'm sorry, but it is unfair. It's unfair to think that you would rather let your child suffer on all parameters just because of. So you're You're continuing a cycle. You're continuing the wrong type of cycle that you're trying to break. Yeah, Marlene, that's not the best way to do it at all. Appreciate you for dropping those links, serious baby. Working hard and these MTA workers on the tracks, baby. But yeah, again, that is wild stuff to think about. To think that you would sit here and say because I can't be with that person, or because I can't build with that person, or because I'm just too selfish to relinquish certain controls and just allow things to flow naturally. I gotta use my child as a pawn. That's unfair. And seeing this is another situation and how some women are getting hurt. And again, they are quick to blame men, right? But you also got to take this into consideration. Some of y'all are laying up now with people who are not all the way there. And I mean, they're not emotional as far as the intelligence is low on that. There's a lot of things that they're missing. Key elements. This is why I said you need a father or a father figure, because again, they're getting just as emotional as you about certain things. Like I said, it's some things that should just never happen. And again, you got to make sure a person's mindset is all the way there before you decide to do anything. This is why I say it's important for y'all to, do what you possibly can do. Some of y'all got to get yourselves in order for real. Y'all going with this modern day / feminist mindset. I've said this before because it's the truth. From what I've seen, a lot of y'all going with that logic. I could do this all by myself. I don't need no help from nobody. I refuse to let my child be around this person just because, etc., etc. And that's corny. Think about it. That father is missing important parts of that child's growth and development. Missing out on birthdays, missing out on first walks. Key elements. Again, it's unfair. Again, I could see if certain scenarios played out how it played out. Prime example, you might have laid down with somebody who they done went to jail because of something that they ain't necessarily had to do, and now they are paying the price. That's already a different feel, and those men feel it. There's probably not a damn man in there right now who ain't somewhat crying because they could have avoided making a costly decision, but they did it. And now look, you missing out on the most important parts of your children's development. Some of y'all laying up with these dudes that is always going back and forth to jail. So it goes back to what I was talking about with accountability. Whose fault is that you put yourself in that scenario where now your child is going to be left without a father figure or a father period? Or some of y'all are laying down with good men. These good men are assuming that maybe things will pick up, maybe things will change as far as, now I got somebody to complete whatever. I'm good. We build with this person. But because of whatever you got going on in your mind, you'll mess that up. You got to think about, again, how many, and it's sad, how many of y'all breaking up your own happy homes and your healthy living as far as for your children because of just the way you think, just the way you not trying to again let things flow naturally. Can't always be in control of every situation. And seeing some of y'all have a problem with control. You first minute you get a piece of control, you think that you can control everything and everybody. But that's not how the world works. What you can control is your mindset, control your behavior, control your emotions. Supposed to be the most important thing you do. You can't control everybody's movements, actions, and everything else. Some of y'all want to be a puppet master. And to be quite honest, some of y'all need to be locked up for fraud all around the board. I think that is really important again for some of y'all to get out your feelings. I want to say that for the rest of 2025. Get out of your feelings. Because it's that notion right there that's causing your household to be broken. You might think everything is good on the surface, but spiritually and emotionally it's broken. Because think about the children. Think about them not having their fathers in their lives, especially when their fathers are right down the road. And this is my thing. Now, you you know what you got yourself into. Now, even if you feel that this wasn't what you was prepared for, you better start preparing because now there's no going back. There's no plan B. There is no I can still get an abortion, especially when you done went past the point of no return. Y'all remember when I said that last live about 40% of men right now are raising children that are not even theirs. That's another thing I was going to get on. T Racy baby, and appreciate you Marlene for sharing out. But this is what I'm saying. Think about this situation right here. If you know what this person is about, and you feel that's not a person that you want to try to build with, start a family with, and I'm saying this on both angles, because some of you fellas out there putting yourselves in the hot seat and throwing yourselves out there crazy. I'm gonna talk about another scenario and another situation, but I want to finish this up real quick. It's sad to think that again, some of y'all blessed to give life, build and construct a family tree, where some people don't have that option. Some people never got the option because untimely passing, prime example. These are things that you have to think about. While you are here, yes, the key goal is to find a person, mate, and create something very memorable, a family tree. For some of you women, it's hard to have a family tree and a structure when you made certain mistakes. I'm gonna give a key example. There's some of y'all prime example who are trying to get back out there on this dating field and trying to do whatever. But for some of y'all, it's not gonna be a good task. Not gonna be a good task on your end. Why? Because there are some people again who are not trying to deal with excess baggage. Now, you might have those who will, but that's probably because they already are in a situation where they good, they content with what they got. If they already have children, if they got grown children, prime example, and they don't really have to worry about so much, then yeah, they might play the role. But my thing is, if you know, again, the type of person you're trying to deal with, you should know what you're doing. Fellas, I don't care how bad the chick is. First things first, and this is where I'm gonna go into the next topic at some point. But I'm just letting it be real right now. Some of you fellas, you better really start checking to make sure that's what you're kissing, a woman. Yeah, I'm gonna get on that tonight. Cause I don't know. Keith, what's going on, my guy? You already know, man. Night crew, we in here. But you better be making sure, fellas, again, that's what you are kissing. A woman and not a dude. You gotta make sure whatever you're trying to get into, that's what you're doing. Oh, this is another reason. I had to throw this in here real quick. I believe that a lot of men are being cautious about doing certain things, even on the dating tip. Shit. I'm sorry, but there's certain things that just it should not happen. But again, some of you fellas have to stop putting yourselves in these scenarios as well. Be honest with you. I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. Right now, again, I need to speak to you men and you women out here who are out here trying to sow your seeds. You better make sure you sow your seeds with somebody who has your back all the way. You better make sure that when it's all said and done, there is no gray areas. And even if you can't coexist together, you're better off in certain scenarios and situations. You better be making sure your kids is taken care of on both ends. And getting in order to keep young men grown into young adults, you got to start from home. And it has to be a balance. Like I said, even if you had the child for the first 8 to 10 years, after that, the rest of that should be on the father's end because guess what? There's going to be things when they get into their teen years that, again, a mother is not going to be able to teach their sons. You're not going to be able to do it. And for some of y'all that don't have that positive male role model around, um, you can change that up. There's certain things you're gonna have to change up as well. You have to change your mindset. It can't always just be about you. Now, again, fellas, be careful who you laying your seeds in. If this is a type of woman that you feel is not the type that you would bring home to your parents, if this ain't the type of woman that you feel you could definitely build with, connect with, and grow old with, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. You keep moving around and you find what you need to find before you just decide to do anything. Because you got to think about some of these men out there, even some of the good men who probably got caught up in a situation. Heat of the moment situations done turned left. But guess what? If they still willing to be an active part of, then it should be a blessing to let that person be a part of again. It's unfair when you're gonna sit down and take away the most important part and aspects of life. Children having both raising, both parents raising and loving them equally. Sorry, but there's some of you who probably are about to be mothers. And again, I would tell y'all the same thing. Um, Make sure you're in the proper mind space. Make sure that child's father is in the proper mind space. Oh, but also make sure, because there are some of you who are moving around kind of fast. Some of y'all are moving around to a point where if the child is involved, you need to make sure that this person is the father and not somebody else. Yeah, be safe with your bodies and be safe with what you do on both angles. Fellas, if you're not willing to be responsible for doing any form of child raising, if you feel you want to keep continuing to live your life the way you see fit, then you better make sure you're safe as well on all cylinders. Because there are some who are irresponsible. But again, when some of them are not being taught properly or not being raised properly, these are the scenarios you might get. This is why I said it's important for the children to have both mothers and fathers. Fathers definitely being important because the father is going to teach their children, sons and daughters, what it is that they should be looking for. How to basically be on this battlefield. So even when it's all said and done and parents might be long gone, they children and they children's children have the basic knowledge that they need. Fellas, be wise in what you doing. Ladies, you too. Be wise in what you doing. Now, on to the next topic of things. Because again, this is something that yeah, it's something that needs to be said. Let me get myself together first. Because I'm gonna revisit this first part of the live one another day, definitely. Oh, feel it is important. You know, ladies, you know you have the power right now to change the structure. You could change the landscape basically if you know you have good ones who are willing to do what's necessary, especially when it comes to child raising. Let them be a part of. Don't let your personal feelings and emotions destroy something that is needed for a child. Balance, growth, learning, understanding. Fellas, I'm going to tell you this though. Even if you have a vindictive baby mother, even if you have somebody who you can't see eye to eye with, even if you have somebody that y'all couldn't work out things on the relationship tip, but you are still willing to do whatever, you better start fighting and making sure that your children are safe and not being raised by other people. The first things first, though, I would say that it is imperative that certain laws be changed. And I do feel mandatory DNA testing should be one of them. It's important because first things first, once that man knows that's his, now that's up to that man to decide if they going to be there or not. And then from there, you ladies will get your answer on what kind of person to avoid or what kind of person to let in and let do, let them do what they got to do. But it will also give these men a peace of mind. It'll give them that option to say, you know what? If this is mine, then I'm gonna do what I need to do. Again, fellas, you're supposed to fight for your children. You know it's a struggle and a battle to some degree, but guess what? You have to continue to fight. The one thing I can say though, in some scenarios, and some of y'all doing what you doing to these men and doing to these children because you're allowing the overall thought of these systems that are in play to be your life of luxury, basically. I'm gonna take as much child support as I can. I'm gonna use any type of government assistance, get any form of help, so this way I could do what I want to do, and that's still selfish. Prime example: if you are getting child support, your child support should be used for the child, not for yourselves. And then some of y'all who think that is cute to think of yourselves before you think of your children. That ain't cool. Because now it shows what kind of character you really have. You would allow your child to either be bummy or you would allow your child to suffer some way, somehow, while you living good. Some of y'all better learn to get it together. Because to remember this one part, at some point you are supposed to be doing some form of work. When you both work together, you can achieve things together. Now, I'm gonna get back to that on another day. I did hit some key points tonight on that though. But now I gotta speak to the fellas directly. Um, and especially some of you young ones out there. Again, like I said, be mindful in what you're doing. Don't let your lust factor, then don't let your raging hormones put you in a bad scenario. So while I was scrolling around through, just social media in general, I came across a video, I think it was on Instagram. It was from that Pop That Balloon show that everybody might be familiar with. I'm sure some of you are. James, what's going on? Um, I even got thrown off because it's sad to think that, again, some of y'all not using a thought process. You're not being intelligent when it comes to how you're moving. Um, so yeah, watching that clip. So, this, what looks like a normal woman is, talking to the dude. She didn't pop the balloon yet. I just want y'all to pay attention to where this is going. Sassy baby. Now, that's a scenario where things could have went left. And to be quite honest with you, this would have been a scenario where this would have been another show shut down or another form of dating show shut down, or you would have to change certain things up because of what happened. Now, talking, sitting there talking, and before it was all said and done, that person that said before or you know that they wanted a kiss. Now, dude sat there and looked kind of confused at first because it's rare you have a woman say, "I want a kiss from you" before I make my decision on anything. It's red. And to be quite honest, confused the first time. Repeated the question. Now, from there it would seem like, oh yeah, this girl is definitely on it. Like she's just trying to, she's definitely feeling him, and it could be, could be an attraction there. But the sad part about it is, fellas, again, be careful. 'Cause that'd be a setup for you. Now, the dude said, "What you want a kiss on the cheek?" That right there is as far as you would have went. But then again, mm, my two senses would have been up just because, again, it's rare that you get that much of a play where it's, I could possibly be landing this right now. Lean thing, gave the kiss. Now, this is the problem. Person still popped the balloon, but also revealed the secret. And that secret, now I'm not going to lie to you, that secret even messed up the women that were even want to show themselves. We come to find out that dude just kissed a whole transgender. Now, again, this is a person that would be out and about with fool damn near everybody, including the women. Unless you just really got a strong sense on certain things. Fellas, it is again imperative to be wise in what decisions you make. Because that brother could have avoided all of that. Yeah, he got to take some blame for it because, again, you didn't have to initiate that at all. Especially when you was keeping it, you was keeping it professional, you was keeping it on a cool level throughout the whole time. But again, it's sad that now these shows are including the trans people, right? Now, I'm not trying to be funny, but I feel that's not a good thing when it comes to those scenarios because, again, a lot of these people who are on these situations, as far as the shows and stuff are concerned, these is actually honest men and women who think that they trying to find something because whatever form of dating or whatever form of whatever didn't work for them, this is what they're going to, man. And the fact that you would play on that situation right there, that could have went left because the way the guy looked, like even all of the women that were there were in shock to find out that the whole time they thought that was a woman. No, it was a whole man. Fellas, be careful out there. Sometimes you really have to follow your instincts. I feel bad for him, but then hopefully this will be a life lesson for him too. To be honest, they could have went left. He could have popped off and ended up beating on that person, or he could have messed around and unalived that person. Some of y'all that are accustomed to TV, you see what happened with Jerry Springer. You see what happened with Jenny Jones. You seen what happened with countless ones where you put people in scenarios like that, and then look what happens. It's sad that some of y'all are still running around trying to trick people as well too. Again, I'm all for you living your life and doing what you do. That's cool. But there are certain limitations that, yeah, you really need to put in place. You had a couple scenarios or stories as of the last couple years recently where you got some of these trans people, not just men but women too, out here catching these young ones. These young ones who are not aware or not too familiar with whatever. That's not a good look. See, I'm gonna say this because for some of y'all need to hear that. You want to live your life, Live your life. But you also have to be open and honest, not just with yourself, but the people that are going to be around you or the people who you might encounter. You're putting yourselves in these scenarios. That's not a good look. You're playing with your lives because you don't know how a person is going to react to that. You don't. You do not know how a person is going to react to that type of situation. Thinking that they was dealing with the opposite sex and come to find out that they wasn't. Because there are some women too who thought they was dealing with men and come to find out they dealing with women who are trans. Again, this seems to be a problem as well too. Now again, that trans person would have fooled a lot of people in the streets now. But again, some of you fellas have to be careful in what you're doing. Even if you plan on going on these dating shows or whatever it is you decide to do, however you decide you're gonna do the dating thing to find who you looking for, by all means, do what you do, but be safe in doing it. And it could have went left because the way he looked, like everybody else looked, it was just a look of shock. He did run back up on it like he was ready to, but you gotta think about it. You in a room full of women, and most of them are in shock too. Now, it's one thing you trying to make sure that it's safety there too, because it's like it's crazy that you would sit there and put these people on these shows, right? And not give fair warning. Exactly. Especially when you got some of them who not gonna be funny. You gonna be like, are you sure? If anytime you gotta second guess something, that's a problem. Because you gotta think about it. You got heterosexual men and women who are on these shows as well. So even if you want to include these people into the mix, there still needs to be fair warnings on everything. Because not to be funny, like I said, the way that everybody looked, it I'm telling you, the room got real quiet. Now, you always want to have at least one or two who decide that, oh, this was too funny. I gotta laugh at this person's situation. That's not funny because that could have triggered him to go left. You're sitting here laughing at the scenario. But then again, the young brother just learned a lesson. When certain things don't seem right in your mind, follow your instincts. Because apparently you still have people on that side who like to play games. And then it'll be, oh, this person has been exposed, or oh, this person is this. And you don't know what kind of toll it'll take on a person's mindset. Again, this is why you got certain scenarios that happen. You played around with somebody's mindset and put them in a situation where you've embarrassed them worldwide. Not thinking again, even if it didn't go worldwide on the internet, there might have been some people who have seen or saw whatever was saw. And then guess what? Everybody in the hood talking about it. Yo, that's crazy. Yo. And now you putting that person in a precarious position. I also watched another video that kind of ticked me off, and this is why I'm bringing this safety measure to all the fellas right now. I watched a video today that threw me off. So we had three transgender who set out their own mouth. they would not tell that person that they are trans. How does that look? So you willing to put somebody in or put yourself in a crazy predicament because you don't want to tell them? I thought you were supposed to be comfortable within yourself. I thought you were supposed to have a certain decorum when it comes to that, right? Maybe I'm tripping. Now again, for you to blatant, I don't care if it was a skit or not. Art imitating life, and vice versa. That don't make no sense. That you sat there and just said you wouldn't tell these people that you're transgenders. So when you end up getting severely hurt, or God forbid, unalived, or close to it, what you think the next scenario gonna be? You're gonna have to be open and honest. Because if people are gonna quote unquote accept you for who you are, but don't sit here and deny the truth and then try to put people out there like that. Because again, there have been some men who have got caught out there, and it's not like they intended to get caught out there. There's some people who actually do like that shit. But in the same token, that's still hit and miss with that one. Because not everybody is on that level. But again, you're gonna live your life the way you feel fit. Live it. But there should be a limit to certain things that are being done. The fact that you would sit here and hide and deny that from anybody, that's selfish. I'm telling you, you're gonna put yourself in the early grave plot, or worse. Again, when you living your life the way you feel fit, and if you living in your truth, then continue to live in your truth. And that means you should be truthful with yourself and the people around you again. Fellas, when you inebriated, you better be careful again. Because that's how it starts. You could be too intoxicated, not paying attention to a degree, and then that's how that happens too. See, when you're not being real, with yourself, and you're not being real with the people, those are the type of risks that you take. Riders, baby. You already know if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. If y'all new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. But when you out here playing games like that with people, and especially people who, who not the best people to play with, put yourself in a scenario. Put yourself in a scenario where it's going to turn out ugly. So again, better be wise in what you do. Again, you live your life and do what you're supposed to do. But in the same token, you have a right to be honest with those people. And again, you don't know how a scenario could turn out because again, you could be playing with somebody who's not playing with a full deck. You could be playing with a person who just feels so embarrassed and so ashamed that they're gonna go that route and crash out. And it's just because of that. Because of you not being real. Just like it's some of you women that think it's a game. Some of you transgender women and some of you trans men think that it's fair to play around, especially when it comes to, you know, heterosexual people who are not on that mindset of anything. See, again, we include a lot of things, right? But again, if you're going to live your life the way you see fit, you don't add everybody that don't need to be added to your list. Now, again, so you young kings out there, be careful. Really make sure you're doing your due diligence. Because, like I said, you have people like that who are willing to lie and put you in a hot seat. Now, again, that could have went left. What if that man was strapped and decided he wanted to shoot the place up? What if he decided he wanted to stab up everything? You're not thinking about that. Regardless of how you live your life, you're still supposed to play safe. Lying to people about who you are and what you are, that's not good. It's not a good look at all. And again, some of you fellas gotta stop thinking with your hormones and start using your actual brain. Sorry, but even that could have been avoided. You know, again, fellas, when something just seem off about things, trust your gut instinct. Still do your research on everything. And it's the same thing with you ladies. Because you done seen some ladies get caught out there thinking they was dealing with men. And when they come to find out it wasn't, done went completely ballistic. Just like a man would go completely ballistic. But you gotta think about it. How could you how could you blame them to some degree when they got caught out there? That's why I said it's important for some of y'all if you're gonna be going on these different shows and platforms, or even if you're gonna be out in the world and you in the clubs and the mix and the bars and everywhere else, be careful. Be careful and make sure that that person that you're talking to is who they are. You know, I feel for the brother because again, that would have been anybody else. Who knows what could have happened? So yeah, there is. At least I can say that he had that much emotional intelligence and that much awareness not to wig out, knowing that there was more women there than there was men. But somebody else wouldn't have been that kind. Somebody else definitely would have jumped out the window. You can't play around with people's intelligence, and you definitely can't play around or play on their emotions. Now, like I said about that one story with the 37-year-old transgender that got killed by that little 18-year-old. First things first, you almost 40, and you was doing things along those natures. But again, some of you young men too have to be careful out there. You should know what to look for or gain your information the way you need to gain it. But it is an important step now. Because it's sad enough to say that we have these type of people, and I'm not saying that all trans people do that shit, but there is a nice handful of you who will do that just for the simple pleasures of. And again, those are the ones that are taking dangerous risk with their lives. Man, some of you women too playing that, you're playing with your lives. Because if you think a woman is going to accept it and she's not from that cloth, oh, you got another thing coming. It's unfair not to you, it's unfair to the person you're trying to put in that scenario. To be honest with you, and he caught himself because he really could have actually went and did some damage. But, you know, a cooler head prevailed. But I'm sorry, you don't do things like that. Even in the public setting, you don't do things like that. Because you're not just embarrassing that person, you are also embarrassing yourself. Because it shows what kind of class you really have. It shows what dignity you have. It shows that you have none of those qualities because you couldn't just live with what you're living with. Living your truth like you're supposed to. You're going to choose to live that lifestyle, you know what comes with it. And again, this is not no bashing, no hating, no none of that. This is just logical facts right here. If you're going to live in that type of truth, then live in it. Fellas, please, again, be careful out there. Ladies, be careful out there as well, too. Like I said, it's sad that you think that these type of things wouldn't continue to happen, but apparently they still happen. Like I said, time to raise the bar when it comes to certain scenarios. On all angles. Raise the bar. Some of y'all should have some form of moral for yourself anyway. It's unfair to trick people into those scenarios because you don't know how those scenarios could turn out. And why put yourself or your another person is not. Just think about what you're doing out there when you in the battlefield, basically. Now, I'm gonna definitely leave that where it's at because I feel I did get that part out of it. Fellas, just be careful in what you're doing and be mindful in what you're doing. You don't want to put yourself in a scenario where you'll be the one sitting behind bars or possibly harming yourself just because. Pay attention to the signs you need to pay attention to. And again, when something don't sit right, follow your gut. You'll save yourself a lot of time and also embarrassment. Before I do get up out of here, though, um, 'cause I wasn't gonna hold y'all all night. Um, I felt like I said what I needed to say because the first part of the lie was the most important part. Not saying the second part wasn't important either, but that was just more like a safety measure for both men and women out there that's on these dating, these dating scenes and stuff like that. Know what you're looking for and pay attention to your surroundings. Something don't seem right, you should already know how to move from there. But the first part was definitely the most important part. Again, some of y'all messing up the household and balances because you refuse to relinquish control. But remember, at some point, when you have too much control, you will spiral out of control. And again, why should your children or why should your family have to suffer? Because you want to be stubborn in your decision making. But again, fellas, be careful of who you placing seeds in. It's sad when you really just think about certain things that's happening in the world around you. It is sad because it's like you want some of these things to at least be suppressed. And this is one thing I said. The fact that again, 85% of the jail population as far as the males are concerned are coming from the single parent home is the problem. Child needs both. The men for structure, the women for nurturing and comfort. You would like to hear those numbers dropped. You would like to hear something along the lines of 50% of the population locked up is coming from that scenario, or even lesser than that. But we know that's never going to be the case. But again, 85%, that's damaging. And that just goes to show again, there's certain scenarios where these is why, you know, this is why we're losing the battle without we're losing it now. Again, focus on the most important thing, raising your children, but raising them with a balance. I'll revisit this conversation definitely. Um, I know there's a lot of you Pisces babies still in the building. Before I do all of the extra activities, again, I will be revisiting this conversation. For some people, y'all should really take that into consideration and think that that is a giant number of people that are locked up just because of the background he came from. And for the other scenarios, for the people who are locked up, is small, like very small. For some of you women out there, again, you're gonna have to start doing better. If you're not gonna be fully responsible, then you need to give that child a chance. Give Give them that chance to grow. Give them that chance to really get what they need. That balance and that nurturing. Because it's important. It's important for their character development in life. I'll definitely revisit this conversation. Might be something else extra added to it as we speak. But for some of y'all right now, especially the ones who are about to become mothers, this message should hit you as well too. Start thinking logically and start thinking for the betterment of your child. Your child is not going to get the best out of life if you're going to deny them the best things in life. Something that should resonate in your head. You want to break a cycle, you're going to have to break it the right way. And that's one of them. Letting the child have that equal time with their father. For all you Pisces babies, I did not forget about y'all. Did not forget about y'all. I didn't forget about y'all. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. And for those who just celebrated birthdays recently, again, hopefully y'all have another blessed year around the sun. Keep yourselves as healthy as possible. You know, keep enjoying every moment of life. And I ain't forget about y'all. I know some of y'all going to be starting y'all festivities this week. So here.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You a baddie, the type I appreciate. With no makeup, you looking good in the face. Natural body, I'm loving how it's shaped.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hoes coming in, so I gotta bring the guys with me. Said they get to know they outside. Heard they was some freaks, so I had to bring the down with me. Oh, you with it? I'm gone. Come to the bathroom, give me that dome. Yo, man's get the tripping, Brody.
Yes. Again, hopefully y'all keeping yourselves safe and enjoy whatever festivities you might have coming up. Definitely make sure you taking pictures and getting some great memories. But again, the main point, get yourself safe. But I feel this was the most needed conversation tonight. Like I said, I will revisit it. We have to keep revisiting some of these convos because guess what? It's the only way to break the cycle at some point. And there are some of you who still have an opportunity and a chance to not mess up your perfect happy household and structure. Again, for some of you women out there, if you have good men that are willing to do what's needed, and if they are the fathers, let them do what's needed. Don't let your self pride and definitely don't let your irrational form of thinking mess up something great. I ain't forget about y'all though. No, I had to be a fool. Smell an email coming as soon as this live is over, but guess what? It really ain't, because I already know what time is coming. I know. Time for me to act a fool now.
Good with a slick mouth. You better not run up on me. If you do, then I'ma trip out. You better not run up on me. If you do, then I'ma trip out. 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 You better not run up on me.
I ain't got no damn sense today. Still feeling good though. Jewel, baby. Big New York energy in here. You already. No, I had to act a fool though. But I want to let this be known too. I try to do my best to coil down the things that I bring as far as the content. I try to break everything down the middle. And in these scenarios right here, I broke it down the middle, and I'm gonna still continue to do so because it does take two. It takes two to build a foundation, but also make sure that foundation is strong and sturdy for the future. There's some of y'all again who are gonna have to start allowing children to gain access to the fathers. Stop depending on establishments to be your focal point of raising your children because you can't just raise a child off of money. Don't let that sink in your head. You can't just raise a child off of money. Yes, it does take money to raise a child, but you can't just raise a child off of money. And when you get to that notion right there, you'll start seeing things a lot more clear. Now, what the? Wait a minute. No. Bring all the coffee, James. All the coffee. All the darn coffee. Oh, wait a minute. I said you were supposed to bring the coffee. Bring it. I'm skating over for my cup, son. I need my cup. Talking about our motor oil. Mm-hmm. Talking about our motor oil. Marlene, I know you still somewhere in here, and if you're not, don't worry. I did not forget about you. I didn't forget about you.
I don't wanna go to work. I don't wanna wait tomorrow. I just ain't tryna go to work. I don't wanna wait tomorrow. I don't wanna go to work. I don't wanna wait tomorrow.
Have a good night, Sassy baby. Appreciate you for tuning in. Appreciate everybody that shared out. Appreciate everybody that's been a part of the build, still becoming a part of the build. And yes, we still have great conversations. And we're going to revisit conversations. And for those that have a problem with that, it's not hard for you to take a step back. And sometimes, again, that message might not be for you. So, but it's still good to get the sharing out, you know, in order to break certain chains, like I said, have to keep embedding the same characteristics of things. And we need that. Bring back the whole family structure the way it's supposed to be. Wait a minute. Mm-hmm. You know you was gonna get one of those. You know you was gonna get one of them. Let me get my feel good on before we get up out of here. One more game.
All I ever wanted was a black grand national. Fuck being rational, give them what they ask for. It's not enough. Few solid niggas left, but it's not enough. You.
One more game.
What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing.
Talking about our gasolines that you see serious, you keep putting yourself in this situation, talking about our gas, right? Talking about our motor oil, you know what, him.
No lie, you
Uh-huh. Motor oil makes us feel good. Makes us feel just like this.
Wait your turn. In my own lane, we can't merge. So with no hands, you can learn. Let's see how much you can earn.
It makes us feel like that during the day. One more game.
Wait your turn. In my own lane, we can't merge. So with no hands, you can learn. Let's see how much you can earn.
Oh man. But yeah, definitely gonna get back to this conversation. But hopefully somebody did get something out of it. And it's time for me to start rolling out. But before I roll out, let me give y'all some good vibes. I ain't co-signing nothing. See, now co-sign this. God damn it. Now I gotta get gangster.
Second bad, but somebody gotta do it. Got my foot up on the gas, but somebody gotta do it. Turn this TV off, turn this TV off.
One more game for good measurement.
Second bad, but somebody gotta do it. Got my foot up on the gas, but somebody gotta do it. Turn this TV off, turn this TV off. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing.
There you go. There you go. And I feel good. I feel good about the message, but I also just feel good because I know at some point a lot of these talks will be for good use. It will come into fruition. Yeah, we gotta work with each other and not against each other. But Didi, come get your nephew. Serious, James, here, come get baby Pablo over here. There you go, co-signing, Didi. You go, yeah. See, I knew you was gonna co-sign here. You get one of these too.
Don't give in, trust me, girl, take all you see. So let me in. Don't give in, trust me, girl, take all you see. So let me in. Don't give in, trust me, girl, take all you see. So let me in. Don't give in.
Now I gotta get gangster.
Yeah, I'm out the way, yeah, I'm low, okay. Yeah, the island right here is remote, okay. I ain't thinking about no reaper, nigga, I'm reaping what I sow, okay. Got a Benjamin and a Jackson all in my house, like I'm Joe, okay. Hellcat, met his homeboys and them types LA solo, okay. Everybody wanna be demon till they get chipped by your throat.
I'm not gonna keep co-signing. Hey, you're not gonna keep acting up in here. One more game. One more game.
how we roll.
Oh wait, who encouraged y'all to try to take my device? You can't take it, and you won't take it. Take one of these though. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I know my main shadow watches. Yeah, I know. Somebody gonna come out and tell me to get rid of this, but I'm not.
So let me in, don't give in. Trust me, could take all your sins. So let me in, don't give in. Trust me, could take all your sins. So let me in, don't give in. Trust me, could take all your sins. So let me
Uh-huh. James, don't co-sign that because nobody can't take nothing. I think there's more coming. And there's more coming. And there's definitely more coming. But, let's you know, there's more
She
coming.
want me on me like no. Sorry girl, but you gotta go. Sorry girl, but it's too much. 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 It's too much.
Yeah, I know. I know. Ain't nobody trying to take none of that antifreeze, and we ain't doing that. I ain't doing none of that. But here, take one of these.
I rock like pebble, jump through your sheet. You hear this beat, coming like heavy metal. If you got a business, bro, please say.
Yeah. We won't be doing none of those. Oh, so you could give me one of these, right? I'm good. I'm good. I won't need it. I won't need it. Oh, I had a petty moment for a second.
I'm on the stage right now, singing your favorite song. Up in the crowd and you know where to be found as they sing along. I said that you look good without no makeup, no lashes, even better when you wake up.
There you go. There you go. It's petty day, hump day, so you know. If I mess something up, my bad, y'all. My bad. I told you I ain't got no damn sense, but
If there's something strange in your neighborhood, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! If there's something weird and it don't look good, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!
yeah. My bad, y'all. My bad. I messed up the song. Oh, I should sing it again. But I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna set you up for failure like that. I'm not. I can't do that. I can't do that. You already ready to beat me up, so I ain't gonna do it. But I'm gonna do this though.
take all your sins. So let me in, don't give in. Trust me, could take all your sins. So let me in, don't give in. Trust me, could take all your sins.
There you go. There you go. You get one of those. You get one of those. And you get one of these.
Bounce back, take a loss, look, get it right back. She get tossed round, moving like that. Look, outside with the demon. That Beyonce almost made me drown, but I'm breathing. I had to lose to win. Then I told myself I never lose.
But yeah, let me get my ass up out of here. I could be back tomorrow evening, most likely. Another topic I want to talk about, but hopefully again somebody did get something out of this on both sides of the cylinder. Hopefully y'all got something out of this. But yeah, let me get my ass up out of here. Let me get one more time.
Bounce back, take a loss, nigga, get it right back. She get tossed around, moving like that. Look, outside with the demons. That Beyonce almost made me drown, but I'm breathing. Huh? I had to lose to win. Then I told myself I never lose.
Yeah. Let me get my ass up out of here. Let me get my ass up out of here. But let me leave y'all on a good note, though. Because you know I ain't got no choice. I'm going to leave y'all on a good note.
Yeah, I'm out the way, yeah, I'm low, okay. Yeah, the island right here is remote, okay. I ain't thinking about no reaper, nigga, I'm reaping what I sow, okay. Got a Benjamin and a Jackson all in my house, like I'm Joe, okay. Hellcat, made his own voice in them types LA solo, okay. Everybody wanna be demon.
Yes, yes. Let me get my ass up out of here. If y'all was new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout outs to the replay game. Shout outs to the Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. Y'all know what it is, baby. For everybody that was in attendance tonight, y'all already know that love is love and they'll be reciprocated as such. I don't know how to be fake. What I'm gonna do is give you real. That's all I'm gonna do is give you real topics and real builds. Yeah, I forgot. I forgot. And I forgot. My bad, y'all. I was supposed to give y'all another good one. Another good one.
Shining once again. Ran it up, I told her mama sliding my DMs. Nah, right.
There you go. There you go. Don't worry, the ball scalp is coming. And it's coming. And it's coming. But take this on the way out, good people.
And a house is not a home when there's no one there to hold you tight and no one there that you can kiss good night.
No, embrace it. Embrace it, serious. Embrace it, damn it. Embrace it. That's all of y'all. Embrace that shit. We all need some good laughs. We need some good therapy. And if you think it's a game, let me leave y'all out with this one. There you go. I ain't forget about you. I ain't forget about you, baby. I ain't forget about you. I know. Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Y'all stay safe. Keep that third eye open. You know what? I'm petty. They give y'all one more for the damn road. I might as well. Just in case if I'm late for the show tomorrow. Yeah, yeah, no.
Don't give in, trust me, could take all your sins. So let me in, don't give in, trust me, could take all your sins. So let me in, don't give in, trust me, could take all your sins. So let me
Oh, serious? You thought that was really gonna? No, no, baby. It'll still be active, and you can take this on the road out.
don't give in, trust me, could take
Hope y'all stay safe. Keep that third eye open. Until the next live, we out of here. Peace and blessings.